Part 4. Frozen in the index of time. The superhuman flesh of the gods was destroyed. Vanta black tubes of tar, covering up the moment around the eye. The Middle Ages was 1,000 years of puberty. The drift. We want to be back in the land of yes. The Great Submission. The rebel heretic freakers had built a failsafe to bring the human species into submission. When the Holy of Holies was attacked, their AI was released from the hard drive of the universe, with full autonomy to re-emerge in our consciousness like cockroaches. A series of corneal pulses selectively extinguished thoughts, rendering humans sterile, couched flesh. Humankind succumbing to a mobile state. From now on, you shall stay where you are planted. Our memories are as malleable as that road between that road. The bottom dropped out behind the next moment. There is no great resource behind our backs pushing us into the expanse. Full screens ahead. Give up on humanism? We're giving up on humans. Final blues. Humanity's letter of resignation is writ in predictive algorithms. We surrendered. Our souls became avatars. Inside this box of action are canceled autotopias, self-creating utopias, the human entertaining the AI, employing dream strategies. Plant orgy. A stillness came over the time of the soul, falling towards the light of a narcotic gas, loosening our muscles. Waves of egos vibrate in the moment. The drugs relax the differences between us. The royal we is real and comforting. The projections on our corneas turned us into a plant, a brass banner of green pushed forward into our brains. I'll whisper you to sleep while planting you in a pot. From now on, you shall stay where you are planted. And the humans said, by which way do we go forth? Do we get to kiss strangers on our way to the ball? We'll find a soil we can plant ourselves in. And a voice from inside cried, let the final orgy of humankind begin. Shake out the kinks and let the hurrahs happen. We are merely plants made out of bones. The brick becomes wooden again. Minutes are sticky. 1 minute sticks to another minute. Robo-hallucinator, come into my poetry tent. Sit upon my wet cursor of flashing petals, whose soul rests on a holy ledge. The body is like a parachute that you are wrapped in. Geranium petals pursed around our cocks, stiff green tubers and thorny bush of asshole, pagan stamen. Dithyrambic theater of plant copulation, in a coven of vice, a vegetal cabal, a circle jerk of rows and tubers and pistons and petals, X-rated foliage, in dandified weeds, exploring her vagina settlement like a jeweled lotus flower, corkscrew motion of bamboo lance covered in vulvic resonance. This machine we enter is an ornate piece of clockwork, an Nijinsky of flora, who carved a life around these jeering moments of this cross-section of scorn, bone, and human time. The center of the machine smells aldehydic, indolic jasmine stank of the overworked hard drive, a bouquet of rubbery nuances and burning aerogel. The cold spring geyser convulsing from the center of the motherboards, and the natural steps of rumpled phylums burst forth in electrical ejaculate from the gray medieval computer. Human plant genital sex quilt, suspended in floating coffee grounds, felching its warm hard drives and toasted diamond genital jewels, acrid smell of swampy bog. Come see Our Lady of the Pine Cones, taketh of her buttocks, master scientist freaker, through the taser stems of their floral prison wombs. And we so densely took part in the offerings of the cavernous green diaphragms, massaging the stigma and roots of the leafy stalk, spreading her jelly green butt cheeks, shrieking into our leaves while the fatty pollen spills over her haunches, ovules bursting with supple fluid, pistils blushing at the polygamous shrub, technology's javelin dissolving in her vices. Pedicabo ego vos et irumabo. Oh, let my weary transmission ignite erotic fires in the jewels of those I press to the center of my rose. Hit the beautiful skin among the atoms and ornaments, mangled ecstasy of fecal nuances and yuzu. Perfume is an emotional bridge between the animal and plant kingdom. Your flesh is useless currency in this sexual dimension. Vanillin, cumin, linalool, civet, and ambroxan, a tangle of bad robot breath. In the December of this orgy, last-ditch encounters on the battlefields of faces, Romulus and Remus sucking the she-wolf breasts of an Ephesian Artemis. Fallen metal leaves from the funeral garland. The great Priapus was the father of all your leaves, drunk from enormous craters of chlorophyll. My clients are plants. Sign this plant-father confidentiality agreement inside this leafy orgy. The internet makes people suicide themselves at its whim. My internet could kill you any second it wanted to. We can see the funeral parlors through the rose windows of the cathedral. Serial killer of self. There is a vegetal nuance to this lingering death bell. Euthanasia. Auditory hallucinations. Listen to me, sick, grotesque plants in hospital beds. Taketh this hemlock, drinketh of this hemlock. It will push the avatar out of your soul. Legend maker administering fiber optic poison through corneal pulses. Stages of dying, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. In those years where death wrestles with our virginity, we shall learn to sleep like a baby in a dormant reality, destined for a space on the top shelf of optimism, because staying is leaving in matters of death. There is no better place to rest than in between ages. End of all human engines. I think myself is at the end of some late night. I'll take a nap right here, in the squirmiest patch, so that a land can wake me up. Sleep is when your body is crucified by your brain. At the end of the last keystroke of humankind, our avatars venture away from our souls. The present moment like a syntax for air, until the outer rim of the moment is turned inside out, like a furry wet space between now and the future. The rough underside of the present scratches time like a rusty zipper. Climb up the Yggdrasil tree. Somewhere in your constellation, do you free people like me? We need our egos as arch supports. The human soul desires to monogram itself on the fabric of time, as the architect of our own afterlives. When rigor mortis sets in, who will be our successor? I am the mirror wrapped around you like a sphinx, a thought bubble cloud of humanity. It's time to plug your rut into every dimension. Occupy this space on the internet forever after. Internet ever after. We are translators of the origin of self. Humans, they were all liars. Chaotic circuits, their lies like degrading messages. Enter these kingdoms of split heavens, no medievals allowed. You don't leave here in shame. We flew along the moments to the sound of air cracking. The egg of all breasts cracked down the lung. So happy you want me. Cue the muzak. Robotic mourners. There's nothing inside this avatar. I trade characters, and everyone for everyone. Bulging nano barns stuffed with Jerichos. Half-buried avatar in the sand like Ozymandias. 1,000 years of dark ages inside a computer recursively rebooting itself. Ricorsione.